Good afternoon, ladies of the world. This afternoon, I am so delighted to welcome a dear friend of mine, Shannon Seeley. But before we start our conversation, I want to thank you uh, sincerely from the bottom of my heart for all the listeners around the world and for staying with us and sharing our podcast with friends and family. Thank you. So this afternoon, as I mentioned, I have Shannon with me, and I'd like Shannon to tell us, how we met a few years ago now, and how
Good
we.
afternoon, Mensi.
Hey,
Hi, it's so good to see your face.
it is. It's been a while.
It has been a while. So we worked, I'm a massage therapist of about 12 years, and I was lucky enough to have an office next to Mensimah's, and our friendship just blossomed immediately. She was my go-to for anything I needed, a little bump in the road or a hug or some just a little bit of added support to get through the day. And you've just been incredible. You've been such an important part of my life. I'm really grateful for you.
Oh, well, I am grateful for you as well, because I remember, in the building where we worked, there weren't that many people,
Right.
back and forth. It's pretty private space.
Yes. Yep.
And I remember, the first time we met, I think it was Kyle who introduced us.
Yep.
And you
Thank you,
just
Kyle.
walked over to me and, gave me a big hug, and I thought, oh my goodness, that's so sweet, and I love that and about you.
I'm a hugger.
Yeah, well, that too.
Yes.
You have a very pleasant disposition,
Thank you.
and that is very. And I've had a few massages with you as well, so
Thank you.
I want
Thank
people
you.
out there to know that when we get together, we do do some constructive things.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, and I was lucky enough to finish a shift and pop over to your women's group every once in a while, which was wonderful. I met some great women and just built some new friendships from there. It's just a beautiful thing. It really is.
Thank you. And the women's group had ladies about your age group generation for the most part.
Right.
And
yeah.
So it was interesting for me to have it. I had two different groups.
Yeah.
I think the one in Avon and Canton area.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Had women of my generation, and then in the office location, I had women your generation, and it was interesting how that worked out.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you notice any difference or a lot of similarities or?
Well, women, the similarities, I mean, we all go through the same types of things, right?
Absolutely.
So, but experience, most of the women in the other group had older children, let me put it that way, and college or graduating college or out in the workforce, and you guys had little ones,
right? Yeah,
that was you had different,
so kind of like rediscovering themselves and then trying to balance for the younger generation, possibly.
It worked out pretty well, actually. So each group presented a whole different conversation and discussion, right? And that made it incredibly interesting for me. I had the blast.
I know. We're getting back to it. We'll get there very soon.
We'll hope soon. And with COVID, everything is online. So we're hoping that folks will join us on Patreon and
absolutely
our women's group on Patreon and have the conversation there. So we are attracting a whole lot of people from all over the world, right?
Yeah. Right. I feel so lucky to be a part of it.
I'm
So
glad
thank
you
you.
are. I'm glad you
Thank
are.
you.
I'm glad you are. Now,
Yeah.
we've been through 2 years of COVID.
Yes.
And I remember, you having young children, you had to take them out of the school system and
Yeah.
do their lessons with them on a daily basis, etc. What was that experience like
Oh
for
my
you?
gosh. I mean, you almost sit here, right, and think, like, we really did that. Like, we really made it through that, you know?
Yeah,
And even even thinking back, you're like, every Friday we tried to make it a big deal just to reach Friday. So we were doing forts inside and movie nights and a little bit more sweets than I would have liked for the kids, but everything, like, it made you really appreciate what you did have and be grateful for what you had with you. And it was usually people in your family or experiences that you could make the most of during that time. But distance learning is extremely difficult, and our teachers in person are amazing. And I can't
yes,
say that enough. And we are so grateful for them. We are so
yeah.
grateful for them.
So we giving a shout out to all the teachers in the world,
Yes.
and
Thank
however you
you.
teach, right, whether it's formal or informal,
Absolutely.
however you teach, we expressing gratitude for what you did for all the children in the world. It's
Yeah,
been quite difficult and challenging,
it has.
right?
Yep.
So,
Yep. Just staying grateful for every moment and every burst of sunshine that pops through the window,
right,
you know?
right.
Yeah.
We've made it through, and that is the
Yep.
best part of it all.
Exactly.
With new lessons learned, right? New lessons,
Absolutely.
right?
I learned I was stronger than I realized,
Mhm.
and my children did a wonderful job getting through it and making the most of it. And now they're even more appreciative of what they do have, I believe.
Well, as we're talking of the children, I wanted to bring it up, and we may bring it up again, but I wanted to talk to you about them in the sense that I've met them a few times, and they're just such disciplined kids. Now, you have a gentle manner about you, and yet the kids are so well behaved, and listen, and they are very warm, loving kids. So, how
Yeah.
do you do it?
Um, it's a journey, you know. I try to, you let them try to be who they are, and also make sure that they're carrying, the manners and the empathy with them for other people, and gratitude is the word of the day, I think. So as long as they get their, like, they're getting older now. So I have a 10-year-old daughter and I have a almost 8-year-old son, and they're starting to get more responsibilities as we get older. And I think that's important. Um, when they were little, bedtime has always been very strict for us, because they do not, if they stay up later, they do not sleep in. That didn't work for my kids. So sleep, and then they're a happier child. My children personally, that's what works for us,
Mhm.
so but I think as long as they, fresh air, getting outside and respecting our elders, I think that's, like, very important to me.
Right.
Just
Well,
instilling.
respecting elders is key, right? Because we
Oh,
see
yeah.
it,
Right.
fractured in so many areas in our
Right.
world now. And it's
Yes.
important that kids know that their parents are
Yeah.
parents and other elders. So they're not only
Right.
showing respect to the parents, but also to
Yeah.
elders within the community. You
Right.
know,
Yeah, and I think it's always so important to really be a student forever. I think it's a good way to look at life, is you can always learn something from somebody, no
Mhm.
matter who they are,
Right.
no matter who they are. And I think it makes you a more well-balanced person and member of society. So that's my goal for them, is just to be good little humans. That's all.
That's good. That's good. That's a good goal.
Yeah.
So as you mentioned earlier, you're a massage therapist, right? What,
Yes.
what got you into massage therapy?
Oh, well, no one's really ever asked me that in a long time. So long story short, college did not work out for me. I had some like health problems, some knee issues that had to be taken care of. And I was kind of searching for like what's next for me, and I looked back on a book that my mom gave me when she had cancer. So she had cancer when I was 15. I've never really talked about this before, so let's do this.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. And because of her chemo, she wasn't feeling well. She was nauseous. The side effects that can come with it. Very tired. And she got me a book at a tag sale. She was a tag sailor, and it was a very old book, probably the original copy of how to give a massage and all the points and the body parts and muscles and everything. And I just thought it was so interesting as a child. So I was like 15 years old. And so I would work on my mom. I would read the book and I would massage her, the best I could without the schooling at the time. And somehow it just came full circle for me that was something I was interested in doing. Thankfully, I finished the program in 2.5 years 2 years. And I then ended up having my daughter shortly after. So it was a wonderful trade to get into. It was flexible. And I felt like I was making a difference. Like every person, usually no one leaves upset, everyone's pretty happy after a massage and they're relaxed and they, it's massage and it's therapy at the same time. I really do believe you help people get through times, even unknowingly, I might, have helped someone get through a difficult day and I had no idea. But so that's kind of how I got into it. And I love it. It's kind of taken me, COVID has been interesting. I rent once a week now. I am a para at my kids' school because they were short-staffed and were looking for help. And I work at a group home on the weekends doing touch therapy for them. So it's kind of, it's always been something I did a lot more of, and then I kind of fell back a little bit and pivoted. I do social media with you, so yes. Just kind of a bunch of different.
Well, let me go back on the massage therapy a little bit,
yeah.
Right? Because one thing that I always bring up in my group sessions is body work and how individuals can really begin having a relationship with the body, an intimacy with the body, because the body holds wisdom. Absolutely. And through that work, they will be able to also tap into additional insights that they have, right? It'll open up new insight for them.
Right.
So what is your, if someone couldn't, at the moment, come to a massage therapist, what would you tell them to do, to kind of heal themselves, some part of
yeah. You mean physically, emotionally, just like all connected? It is all connected.
It is all connected, right?
If I can't get someone in, especially during COVID when I wasn't seeing anybody, I would have people message me and I would try to talk them through, like, run a bubble bath, light a candle, grab some lotion. I'll send you a video and you can do like your own massage on your hands and your feet and warm up a heating pad. That's my go-to, a heating pad. Just recognizing that stress can fall. Some people carry it in many different places. And so it's all connected. And I think just realizing that we all carry different things, different ways, and that sometimes it can settle into the body and be a cause for chronic pain. Really, it's something that people can carry around for a long time.
Well, I know something about that, but
yes.
I don't want to talk about
Yeah.
Well, with my back injury, and
Yeah.
for many years, back surgery,
Right.
etc., I resorted to doing massages regularly
Yep.
over the years, and
Yep.
it's helped me not only to settle the pain a bit, but to really focus on the body
Right.
in a different way, and I find it quite empowering to do that.
Absolutely.
Now,
Yeah.
your touch therapy is, on Sunday mornings in group homes. Can you
Sunday
talk a little bit
mornings.
about it? Who do you see when you go?
Okay, so I'm down to 2 homes right now. We we took a very big loss from the past couple of years with COVID in our homes, and so it's hard to talk about. I lost a lot of my people that I was seeing, and but I I love it. It's not something I ever thought I would do. It kind of just fell into my lap, but I feel like it's almost a gift to me. I work with cerebral palsy, a lot of nonverbal clientele, Alzheimer's and dementia. So everything is kind of like meeting people where they're at that day.
Mhm.
Um, and there's not a lot of visitors. There certainly hasn't been a lot of visitors recently. So I'm the one who's spending time with them, and I'm, it's kind of like it's a mix of energy work, and also you're trying to relax the spastic muscles. So big terms for the spastic muscles, and some range of motion, if you can get them to do that. A lot of them are in their beds and they're not moving much, much between like a chair and their hospital bed. But I feel like it's been a gift to me, and I am so thankful for the experience. I think it's made me I don't know. I feel like I literally could cry talking about it, because it's made such a difference in my life, and it's made me really they can't talk to me, they can't tell me that what they need, but I can feel their energy, and I can feel what they need from me, and so that's what I'm there for. I'm just there for them, and that's what I'm there
Well,
for.
what a gift that is, if you
Yeah.
think about it, that these people don't have people coming to them, just to
Right.
sit and laugh and do all the things that we take for granted sometimes,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and so you are bringing not only healing to them, but
Yep.
the um, comfort of having a person with you, as
Absolutely.
because they seem to be isolated.
Oh yes, absolutely. I have one person, she can't talk to me, but she has a bracelet of bells.
Hmm.
And so when she's happy, it's on her arm. And when she's happy, she shakes her arm and rings the bells. And so it's just beautiful.
That's beautiful.
It's a
And
gift.
and the human spirit has so many ways of just uplifting itself,
Absolutely.
and doing the things that we, as I say, for those of us who are able to run up and down and do things and not really realize that other people, still with the gift of life, find ways to
Yeah,
make it work. Right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been an incredible journey. I'm very grateful.
And I'm grateful for you doing this work with them. And I'm sure, do they have family members that, or
Some of them. Yeah. There's just not a lot of visitors, especially now. It's
yeah,
getting better. So I'm hoping.
that
So
it will open up and, they
yeah,
see more people? And
absolutely.
well, with
Yeah.
the weather also
Get
changing,
outside, take some
yeah, they can step
they take
outside.
walks together. Yeah.
Right. That's very important work. Now,
Thank you.
how did you get into, I'm switching off into the other hat that you wear.
I know.
and be the
Uh,
social media specialist.
yeah.
What made you start that?
So I had some background from a previous company that I worked with, and I studied a little bit and learned some things, and everything is ever changing in the social media world.
Right.
But I have taken marketing classes and marketing background and everything, and I understand that the whole point of it is to kind of let people, let them know that you're there. And so when they need something and they need a service of yours, it's like you're the first name that pops into their head, and they trust you, and that, like you're my go-to person, and that's my go-to business. And so just reminding people of what you do and what you offer, I think, is really important. And since COVID, everything has switched to online. A lot of things
Right.
have switched to online, and a lot of more people are scrolling social media. Fortunately, we do something positive by offering positive service of connection and women's empowerment and everything like that, especially on your Patreon site.
Yes.
Which is incredible. I love it. So basically, I kind of pivoted to helping, because I was home with my children. I helped a friend who started a business, so I started doing their social media. You reached out to me and asked for some help, so I was like, yeah, let's do this. So it's been awesome. It's positive. I feel like I get to kind of like take everything that you offer, and I get to like implement it into my life every day, and the tools that you've given me, and it helps keep me positive by posting this positive stuff,
Right.
because there's not a lot out there, and it's nice to have.
So, one of the things I want to ask, because, without you, I don't know what my social media would look like. I'm a old, not so old, but,
No, not old.
it's just tricky sometimes. And, I'm trying to think,
Yeah.
okay, how can I boost this and create something dynamic, right?
Right.
And we're doing that on all our sites, Instagram, and as well as, especially now that we shifted to Patreon. So
yeah, I love Patreon. I mean, I think the whole idea, obviously free content is great for people, but life has a purpose. Like you have a job and everything. So sharing it where people can come to one site and find what they need, and they don't have to go to all different sites all day long to get the content that they need. It's right there. They have a community that they can interact with, and we can get back to them. And it's just a beautiful thing.
that's nice. That's nice. I'm having a wonderful time with you and, doing this work.
Thank you.
Our lives have connected in such a beautiful way.
So many.
And it's really wonderful to see.
Yes.
Now, you also support women, and what I love the idea that women should be supporting other women, right? And because I believe this from the bottom of my heart to my soul, that if all women were able to connect and really take steps to shaping our world, we would hold the power.
Yeah.
And
we would
make this world a better place.
I believe so.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we should find tools to nurture one another. And
absolutely.
You started the hashtag Mom Life Unfiltered, something like that.
Mom Life Unfiltered. Yes, my group. Yes. I mean, like, I don't really talk about it much because I guess sometimes you need to take a step back and be like, wow, like I'm doing this, like this is something we started. It's so cool. It's impacting so many women,
Mm.
So it's been since 2018. And I have little ones, and I was kind of feeling like if I'm feeling a little bit not supported, then I'm sure other people are, and there's so much out there that's coming at moms and women right now, like constant opinions. You should do this, you should do that. And I really wanted a space. I didn't know how big it was going to get, but we have like 754 members. I just checked yesterday. All over
Awesome.
the United States, many different states. We have like Nevada, South Carolina, Alabama, and then a good amount of like local. So I'm in Connecticut, and we have a lot of local moms. And the goal of it was really just to have a space that was like, Facebook can be so overwhelming, but it can also have such good potential, and
Right.
this group, like, it's almost like another family, if that makes sense. Even though I know about probably half of the people in there personally, everyone has added extensions of friends and family and some grandmas and some caretakers, and we're all kind of like in this shared space. So like we've all kind of gone through similar things the past 2 years, especially. And kind of, it's a place where you can laugh and find funny memes and jokes, and we all understand what's going on. And then it's also, I have a question about this, and I don't know how I feel about this, and what do you think? And obviously you would always go to your doctor, your pediatrician for things, for your child.
Right.
But there's some things that just you need to talk to another mom about, or a grandmother or a caretaker who's in the group. So I think it's just awesome. It kind of runs itself at this point. I'll pop in and try to, if I feel like I can add to that person's situation and question and be of some assistance, then I'll pop in. But there's some things, like I have a little bit of older children now, so I don't really remember a lot of that stuff. I've lost some memory, I feel like, lately. But it's really cool. And then you have the dynamic of some moms who have older kids, and then their experiences, and they're adding to it's just a wonderful, it's kind of like a blanket being weaved together with like
Right.
different generations, and what I learned from and what I wouldn't do again. And hey, this might work for you, this worked for me. It's just a beautiful space.
Well, the natural progression for everything is, when there's love amongst us, right?
Right.
We're able to come together and flow, right?
Right.
I always use this analogy of having water flowing downstream, and it's smooth and it goes
Yeah.
around the stones,
Yeah.
effortlessly, because
Yeah.
you don't have to move a stone out of the way in
Right.
order for the water to flow, right?
Right.
And
Right.
and if we were all able to, in some small measure,
Right.
put something in place that helps our communities, and it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be large ones. We
Right.
start with one person and see how it grows, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I
It's
you
like
know
that ripple effect,
exactly, like
Yeah.
throwing a little stone into the water, and it ripples and ripples up,
Yeah.
and as it goes, other things develop from that. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we were to check right now and see people who have been in that community and may have walked away or also developed something from that experience to also help somebody else,
Absolutely.
right? So
Yeah.
what do they
Yeah.
call that? Carrying something forward?
What is it called? Yeah. Just have to,
Just carrying, right.
I just feel like there's some times where people are like, I'll share something and they'll be like, oh, I really needed this today,
Mhm.
And if
Right.
that's what I can do, then awesome. Like, that's awesome.
It's off, it's wonderful to know that we are a resource for each other,
Absolutely.
right? And
We
we
are.
can lean on each other.
Yeah.
We were not meant to live this isolated,
No.
individualistic life,
No.
and to me, it's beautiful to see people come together, people from all different um, life experiences,
Yeah.
income, a diverse group of scenarios,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
build this type of platform. It's
Yeah.
very, very nice to see. So
Thank you.
now we're talking about women, and you
Mhm.
and I can tell you some challenges I've been through, and I think you know some of them. And
Yeah.
we all go through something, right? And that something doesn't necessarily have to be negative,
Right.
uh, but at some point in our lives, we are still experiencing something.
Right.
And what are some things, or one thing? I won't put you on the spot. One one challenge you faced, either as a mom or that helped to set up this um, platform, for example, and how did you get through it? Something you think would help.
um,
Um,
you know, we're getting vulnerable, huh?
yes,
I think that mental health for women
mhm,
is a roller coaster. Um, and I think I, I'm not going to give like too much of an example, but I'm just going to kind of make it a little bit broad. Obviously, there's things that when you're growing up that you might want to do differently when you're a parent, and they just do the best they can. And I think that trying to recognize that like you are your own person, like you are this person's mother, and you're doing the very best you can to make sure to stay true to yourself, recognize that it's okay to make mistakes and that you could learn from them. And I think it's important to trust yourself also. I think with so many different opinions coming at you all the time, it's really easy to question yourself. And I think staying true to yourself, going with your gut is the most important thing.
so I'm going to put a little pressure on you.
Okay. Okay.
So when you say, so many things coming at you, can you give us one example?
um well, I think that there's a lot of noise out there, of you have to do this and you have to do that, and you need to, either women feel like they need to be home for their kids all the time, they
Mhm.
have to be at everything and they have to be there all the time, and they need to work full time, and they need to do this and that, and and then they feel this immense pressure on themselves, like I'm struggling and I can't do all of this, you know
Mhm.
I and I think recognizing that it's okay to feel like that, and it's okay to ask for help. That's one thing I always felt like I had to do. I have a hard time asking for help, and I've learned as I get older. I was a younger mom. I was 23 years old, and I felt, maybe a little insecure that I wanted to make sure I was doing everything right and perfect, and
Right.
like how I thought I was supposed to do it, and I thought I had to do it alone. I have a wonderful spouse, I'm not saying alone, but I'm saying alone, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it doesn't have to be like that. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to call a friend. It's okay to call a parent. It's okay to take some time away for yourself, um that's how it should be. It takes a village. It really takes a village, and I think we've gotten away from that, unfortunately. But
Well, and there are social organizations like churches and
right.
other powerful organizations that can support us through the challenges we face in society.
Right.
Right. So what I hear you saying is that if you need help, reach out to somebody.
Yeah.
Whether you're in school, you're a mother, you're working,
Right.
you're a housewife, etc. Reach out to
Yeah.
somebody,
Right.
and from that one step,
Yeah.
other things could emerge that would
Yeah.
make life a lot easier than they are.
Right. Yeah. Or come to Mom Life Unfiltered.
Exactly. That, Mom
Or
Life
find a group.
Unfiltered, right?
Yeah.
And find a support group
Yeah.
and join some, positive
Yeah.
spaces. And I
Yeah.
will encourage people to join our
Join
space.
Patreon. Yeah. Join Patreon. There, find something, having a spiritual practice and is in general is life-changing, has been life-changing for me. It
Well,
might not always look the same, and it might look different every single day, but it's there and it's in my toolbox,
well, so let's share one tool you use.
Okay. You're gonna laugh at me. A shower, or just running my hands under cold, warm water.
How did you come to choose that? Actually, the shower, I think, I
Yep.
chant when I'm showering.
Yes, I sing. I'm a singer.
Mhm.
I love to sing. I love to write poetry. I feel like I want to get back to doing more of that. I also just like to kind of find a moment of quiet. I don't really get a lot of that. So when I do get that, and it can be you're gonna laugh too, it's literally when I'm sitting down having a cup of tea, folding laundry, is when I feel the most like intentional, because I'm only folding laundry. I'm only focusing on this one thing right now.
It
In
is
my
very
hot cup of
important.
tea.
It is very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Let me, I like it when I hear people sing. So I'm gonna ask you, is there something you want to sound out to us? A favorite song?
Oh my goodness. I don't know.
Listen, I'm sure the
We
listeners
can sing together.
I don't sing, and
You don't
I'm
sing.
not, I mean, I sing, but not in public.
Yeah.
If we're in church or something, it's different, but I wouldn't do this to anybody. So I wouldn't do this, and I have to think about something. So do you want to sound something out to us?
Oh my gosh, I guess so, but can you delete it if it's not?
Oh, come on, let's go with it. Let's go with it.
All right.
There isn't a gift that God gave us that isn't good enough. It's always perfect.
I will be dancing in the sky, and I will be singing in the angels' choir, and I hope the angels know what they have. And I bet it's so nice up in heaven since you've arrived.
Come on, you start too soon.
That's it.
I loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. That is wonderful.
You.
So as you're talking about your spiritual practice and, running water and on your hands even calms you down, etc. How do you share? One of the things I do, I chant a lot.
Yeah.
I just love it. It puts me into a whole new dimension,
Yeah.
and just sounding the same thing over and over.
Yes. So that's like
me.
a vibrational thing, right?
Right. For me, yes.
So I do tapping.
Mm-hmm.
I do tapping, and I kind of say affirmations over and over again as I do that as well. So that's very helpful. You kind of start up at the head, and it's a lot about like I'm safe, I'm protected. You know, you go through the whole face, the chest,
Right.
and it's a vibrational thing. It kind of grounds you a little bit.
Yeah,
There's so much out there,
so much out
so
there,
many tools. Yeah.
so many things we can do to make a life easier on ourselves, right? But
Yeah.
it's also the process of going within, because when you're
Oh,
doing these types of practices, it takes you within and
yeah.
allows you to see the inner landscape and what
Yeah.
is real, what needs to be fixed, and what
Yes.
needs to,
Yes.
um, be nurtured, right?
Yes. Yes.
To bring peace and love. And so I, want to move on to what is your vision for women and children? What do you hope to see? We have a raging, especially this past couple of weeks with all the conflict in the world and stuff. And, sometimes we have to be able to take
Yeah.
ourselves away from, all that and
Yeah.
center ourselves and see what do we hope to see in the world for women and children? What do you, and it doesn't have to be global in that sense, but, in our individual corners and practices and experiences.
Um, I think I would love to see, obviously, peace, um, inner peace, joy for them, safety, and um, nourishment, if that makes sense,
Mhm.
and education. I think that our children and the women in the world deserve everything. They deserve so much, um and I think that it's important because they're the future, you know?
Right.
They're the
Well,
future.
yeah, that is incredible in the sense that peace begins with us.
Absolutely.
You can't talk about peace if you don't have inner peace,
Yeah,
right? It doesn't make sense if we're talking, preaching, and
exactly.
sounding the is it a bullhorn? That there must be peace, peace, peace. Especially the politicians do that.
Right.
But, in a way, they do not espouse peace even in their own attitudes towards other people,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And they create a lot of um, havoc
Yes.
for others, by whatever ideologies they think is superb to other people's, instead of
Right.
just respecting humanity.
Respecting humanity. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Now, go ahead. I know you were
Uh,
going to say
I
something.
just I just think that we've kind of gotten away from treating each other as human beings,
Mhm.
and we've grouped them into these little groups that make no sense, and you don't even know a person until you talk to them, and you've already put them in this group and labeled them something else. um it's devastating. It really is. It's devastating, and it needs to change.
Well, the labels they've created, it's intended to separate us,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yep,
So a
yep,
lot of
absolutely.
labels. You are this, you fit in this group. You are this, you fit in this group, and etc. And
Yep.
then we create these barriers um, to prevent us from, reaching across to the next,
Right.
and we point fingers, right? But
Right.
in the Akan language, my tribe, they say that when you're pointing a finger at someone or, some things, remember that there are three fingers pointing back at you,
Back at you. Yeah,
right?
it's true.
And so if we were to stop pointing fingers as to who is not doing what, and
Right.
rather focus on the inner peace and love and
Yeah.
begin then, because once you are in that state, it flows to the next person and the next person down. And
Yeah.
before you know it, you are impacting so many other people, right?
It's so true.
And I think that women have the nurturing abilities. I'm not saying that all women are nurturers,
Right.
but my majority are. And
Yeah.
we understand what it means to self-sacrifice and be
Yeah.
selfless in our efforts to support one another. And
Right.
so moving forward, I'm hoping that we'll all be grounded in that space,
Yeah.
and lift each other up
I hope so too.
to serve the world.
Yeah. I think we need to have more conversations. I think we're a lot more alike than we are different. And I think just talking to each other and checking on each other's hearts is really important.
Well, as we're doing in this conversation, right?
Which is what we're doing. Yeah.
Okay, so as we are about to end this, and I always say that, when we start talking and etc., usually when I ask people to give me 1 hour of their time, they think, oh my goodness. And then, we start and then it comes so quickly,
Yeah.
ending. So who is a woman of power and grace to you?
I was thinking about this last night because I thought this question would come up. And I think a woman of power and grace is someone who always looks behind them and helps the next person and gives something back. Not really something, but it could be anything, an experience, sharing anything that they can with the next person. Empathy, kind-hearted, and purpose-driven. That's what I would say.
Well, we all have a way of emboldening each other.
Yes.
And really stepping out, and most people who do this type of thing you describe don't do it for any reward, or they just do it because they are in that state of being.
Yes.
Right, and it's beautiful the way you describe it. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Podcast. And I want to thank our listeners for checking in on us every other Friday, and keep posting the reviews and also sharing with others in the world. In fact, we got some few listeners in Aruba the other day, and I thought, oh my goodness, that was awesome. So
awesome.
And I mean that one day I'll read all the countries that are listening to us, and really express my gratitude and blessings for being connected in some shape or form. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.